Hey, what's up? It's the Fit Gear Hunter, and today we're going to talk about the Huawei GT3. Now, the Huawei GT3 has had a piqued interest of mine, not just because you can't buy it here in the United States, but because they are running their own training load algorithms, and it does connect to a chest strap. So if you like this initial review, please give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing for more. I have all sorts of Epix and Fenix 7 testing and heart rate accuracy testing coming up, as well as the Huawei GT3 full review. So we're just going to dive into a simple summary. As I said, it's not available in the US, and you have to go outside of the US to get it or order it in from some other place. I think it is about $350, and the package that I got came with a multitude of things. I'm actually going to do a review of the Huawei FreeBuds because they are actually pretty awesome earbuds. So looking at this, it is basically 46 millimeters across. It's a slender 13.1 millimeters wide, and it's a relatively medium weight, 73 grams. That compares to right in the middle range of like a Fenix 7 titanium versus a regular Fenix 7. So one of the things I'll tell you just out of the box, besides the fact that the unboxing of itself, and I'm not going to take you through that torturous process, the way they packaged it was high quality, and it comes with a secondary band, which we'll see in a second. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at this in detail, hands-on, because this is just more of a first look, initial review. We're going to see how the interface works. We're going to look at how it sort of looks body-wise next to the Garmin Epix, next to the TicWatch Pro Ultra, next to the Apple Watches, see how the screen appears relative to some of the others that are out there. We're going to look at a hands-on of those things. Then we're going to sort of glance through the app itself, and we're not going to get into any of the higher level analytics for any of the training aspects, the workout aspects, or the wellness and sleep aspects, because I'm testing so many other devices within those regards right now that I can't run it through the mill exactly just yet. And then we'll come back together for a summary. So with that, let's dive in and take a look. All right, so here it is. You can see it right out of the gate. We're going to compare it, just sort of the overall look and feel when you look at it side by side with some of the other watches that are out there. You obviously have the Epix that just came out, the TicWatch Pro 3 Ultra. We're going to sort of look at them sort of side by side, but I wanted to show an initial sort of capture. So if you see it next to, the size and overall clarity of the screen of the Apple Watch versus the clarity of the screen of this, it is just, the same. There's really no loss there. Versus the Epix, obviously the Epix has the AMOLED screen. It's not quite turned up all the way bright, but neither is the Huawei. The Epix is actually coming in brighter, even at medium brightness. This isn't blasted. This isn't the highest. It's actually on the same sort of medium setting as the Huawei. And then here it is versus the TicWatch Pro 3 Ultra. So if you just sort of scan across, how does it look when you compare? You can obviously see how does the body compare. Those are the same types of things. That looks like some old weather there too. But the overall look and feel sort of side by side, it actually comes with this other band. It's not really stretchy, but it's a sort of a soft, breathable band, which is just a nice touch, just to have options. I mean, I think everybody in the world really likes bands. You can see, like I said, it's 46 millimeters across, and it's only 13 millimeters thick. So if you were to compare that to the 15.5 millimeter Epix that just came out, you can see that it's a lot more slender of a watch. And when you look at it, just the overall lines of it, I mean, quick release, I think this is not just rubber. This is like the Europlastical, I don't know what it's called. It's a special name for the new type of rubber that's now coming out. You can see the heart rate monitor is now this simple, I think it's got 8 diodes in the middle there that fire. It's got a rotating bezel with a push button, so you go back to home with this, and then you can actually scroll through all your stuff with just the push button and then the one single bottom button. But you look at the design of it, I swear it looks like if Tag Heuer was going to make a smartwatch, I think they do have one, but I've never looked at it in real life. I think this looks like a Tag Heuer watch. I mean, just the lines down the middle, even with the Huawei etching right there, it just looks like the way Tag would do their watches. It is a really good weight. It's 73 grams, which does compare to the Epix titanium and is lighter than the Fenix 7 and lighter than the Fenix 6, but it has a great feel to it. So the overall weight, quality, the I mean, everything about it feels top notch. So enough about the design, enough about the details. This is obviously, you can see it's big, beautiful, brilliant screen. We'll just go to a different type of screen, just different type of layout. You can see, you can change metrics, you can change watch faces relatively easy. Swipe down from the top and you have all your primary settings. You can see your battery life. I haven't been wearing this. I wore it for about 24 hours and then it's been sitting just on a shelf for 3 days. So you can see it's 27% down. So that is incredible. The battery life, I think, is positioned to get like 14 days. We're going to test that because it never really turns out that way, because I always leave the screen on as well. So that's the basic drop down for the settings. And then you scroll left to right and you can get the widgets. You have your heart rate widget, your SpO2 widget, your daily activity widget, and I haven't been wearing it today. I really love the beauty of this weather widget. I just think it's fantastic. You can go into it and you can see like all sorts of different predictive, aspects for the next little period of time. That is really cool. I mean, they have done the moon phase. I mean, when the moon is out, they have done a great job. I mean, again, the moon phase is just built right in there. They have done a great job at their weather widget. I know it's a silly thing, but I always check the weather on my watch. And then it's got this other feature, which is a widget that probably is not useful to half of the population, but I think it's fantastic because I actually am always curious when the full moon's going to be, and this tells you when it's going to be, and it always does that. It resets the center. That's one thing that's a little frustrating. So I just, you can see that, and then your sleep. If you had sleep aspects, you could see just the summary of sleep. You actually can't dive in and get the full sleep details here. And then you scroll from the bottom, you can see, the way that a notification would look. I found it to be really clear because it is just the text, and the obviously is an AMOLED screen. The fact that it's got really crisp colors, the way the text is sort of thin, it's not a bold text, is actually really useful. And then you could go backwards, down the line. Sorry, this, when you swipe to the right, is actually a summary of basic things. So it's sleep, and then if you wanted to play music, it's got one preloaded aspect on there. It does have a speaker built in. So, I mean, pretty sweet. You always swipe to the right to get it go back to where it was. Again, that was just something that was pre-loaded on there, so you can quickly get to some basic drop-down things there. You can take calls on this, so it just connects to the watch just like an Apple Watch, but basically just over the Bluetooth. You're just talking. The receiver sounds good. It was pretty easy just to quick take a call on the watch because it has a speaker, it has a microphone, has all the primary things you would need there. And then you have some basic things when it comes to what you can see on the watch. You can see all this, we'll look at it in the app, but the workout status, this is where you're going to be able to get training load over time once I actually start recording things. It's got recovery time, like how much depletion you have, plus it's got a countdown timer for the recovery clock, and then your VO2 max. So training load is simple. It's like, the Garmin, this probably more compares to what the Garmin 245 spits out, just like straight up training load. Over time. And then you can go back into here. You can see it has SpO2, skin temperature. We'll look at that in more detail later. I'll look at it on the app because that's a little bit more useful. You can go into sleep. You can't go into past days of sleep. So I didn't sleep with this last night, so can't see it there. Your stress, if it was going to track, it would have a chart. It does not track during the day very accurately or very adequately, so it's not really helpful there. Music, barometer, all the basic things that you actually got on the quick thing, but on the widgets, but you can see just the full summary. When you go into a workout, what does it look like? It's relatively simple. This is where, you can connect to things. Oh, one thing that is, revolutionary about the Huawei GT3, which is different than the Amazfit line, the Xiaomi line, all the previous Huawei, the Honor watches, is that you can do one specific thing, and that is connect to a chest strap. It only connects to the Polar H7 and the Suunto Smart Belt for whatever crazy reason, because the Polar H7 is only a single channel Bluetooth receiver, so I can't connect it to multiple devices, but it is connected. And even if I want to connect it to another device, I could say disconnect without unpairing it, which is just a nice feature. So when you go into the workout, it looks like this. You can pick CrossFit, strength, high intensity interval training, functional training. It's going to give you basically the same stats. So, you know, maybe this is reading my heart rate off my finger, but I do have the chest strap on. You can see it actually is connected to the chest strap, and there I've started. You can see your build of training stress, your aerobic and anaerobic, if you want to pay attention to this over time, and then you're back to where you started. You can play music by swiping to the right, and by swiping to, this is going to scroll down. You stop it by clicking the button there, and it's not going to keep it. So that's what you're going to see in the base of the workout. Let's look at the app and then come back together and talk about it. All right, so this is the main landing page of the app. You have your summary of the day up at the top. I haven't been wearing it throughout the day, so it's only picking up some of the things from Apple Health. Then you have your workout history, your heart rate, your sleep, weight management, stress, SpO2, skin temperature. So that's actually kind of interesting. We'll look at those each briefly. So when you go to a workout, I haven't done any workouts on this watch because I've been testing other devices, but this is the summary. It is pretty cool. It does compare with like the look and feel on the results side for Garmin as well as for Coros. And you can see the aerobic training effect, the anaerobic training effect, and recovery time. And then you can go into the charts and you can see the heart rate graph. Now this heart rate graph, I don't have any recollection of what this workout was. It's got some problems on the bottom, which I'm going to have to check the heart rate zones, because you look, it just says 57 minutes of just pure, all out, extreme, go, 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 which is not obviously accurate. But overall, all the primary metrics you would want, just the aerobic and anaerobic training effect and recovery time, is just right there laid out in the middle. So that's what a workout will look like. Heart rate graph over time, not really worthwhile. The sleep is actually, I think, it's not visually perfect and you see the stages, but overall the fact that it's tracking deep, light, REM, and your awake times is great, and that it's given you a simple sleep score, and that sleep score right there, 76 points, was in line with Garmin. And you can open it up, you can see a lot of details with it. I do like that it's given breathing quality, so it's sort of tracking your breathing over time, which obviously tracks naps. You can see at the bottom there. So all of the primary information you would want when you go to analyze your sleep. Then you have the SpO2, which you can see during that one night. You can see that it basically just had me at 99 throughout the whole entire night, except for one blip for 98, and that did not compare with some of the other devices. So it is, maybe it's on the high side, but obviously that's some more tracking that I'm going to do for the wellness. The stress tracking is a really awesome concept. It's tracking your heart rate variability, similar to what Garmin does with the body battery, that evaluates it or sort of converts it into stress. You can see in this time, okay, at night I was completely relaxed while I was dead asleep, and then during the day there's no metrics. You don't get a reading, so it's not worthwhile because you can't really track your stress if you can't see it during the most time that's most important. And then skin temperature, I think, is actually a really cool metric. I'm going to have to start sort of paying attention to it to see how it tracks. So this is my one night of sleep that I tracked, and you can see the skin temperature dipped at different points, and that obviously has an effect on how you feel. You can track your exercise directly here, and then you go into the watch itself if you want to check any of the settings or details. You can adjust any of the turning things off. I just turned everything on, so we're tracking the battery life with that regard. You have alarms, you have all the basic stuff that you would really see. Firmware updates come in really easily. The device automatically updates, or it asks me if you want to do automatic updates, so there's been no issues there. It's really an overall really simple but well laid out, and everything functions the way you would want it to on the app side. Let's talk about it in summary. So in summary, honestly, I would say this is an awesome watch. It is still yet to be seen if it has worthwhile training aspects, worthwhile sleep and wellness aspects, because there are some glitches there. But what I will say I like about it is I like that it feels like a truly high-end build quality, build design. The overall look of it is just awesome. It's got excellent screen brilliance and obviously incredible battery life. Obviously, it's not worth anything if it can't track the training and it can't track the wellness accurately. So I'm just going to sort of be subjectively comparing it to other devices that are out there. But it has a great interface. I really have felt like the experience is smooth and flawless and flows really well. I think the notifications are super clear to read. I like the sleep analytics, and I like that it gives you a sleep score, and at least in the one night, it's relatively similar to what the Garmin was giving me. I love the little, I mean, it's stupid, but I love the moon, widget that you can just see where the moon's at, because I've been curious, like, when's the next full moon? So far, the things that aren't great, obviously, is that the stress is not picking up during the day, which is when stress is relevant and useful. The SpO2 just looks like it's like perfect all the time when I'm asleep, which I don't know if that's completely accurate, but maybe that is more accurate than other devices. And obviously, just the fact that it connects to only 2 specific chest straps, and those are out-of-date models, so, we'll see how it goes from there. With that, that is the initial review for the Huawei GT3. Stay tuned for more, and thanks for watching.